Hopefully this is live. Hopefully we're back live. I currently have no idea why the last live ended. Could not tell you. But yeah, we're here. Let me wait till this live comes back so I can drag the actual. Well, it's here now. So let me drag. The quality looks super bad on this. 1080p. Okay, we're good money. We're good money. Okay, let me grab the URL. Let me. Sorry guys, I'm getting this done real quick. Okay, let's drop that tweet. We should be good. Let me refresh the stream, make sure we're okay. Because it just ended last time. No clue why. Says that we're good. Let me see. Can I see it on the phone now? Just popped up on the phone. Nice. Okay, we should be okay. Don't know why it ended last time, but oh well. Drunk all my water already. Well, majority of it. I got like a drink or two left, so take a sip of that pop and then we'll get back to the water. All right, so for anybody needing just a little bit of help, I'm gonna run down a roster. I was kind of doing this the last live. I'll more than likely delete that live, so no one has to pay attention to that. So let's just jump straight into it. I'm on my fantasy, well not my fantasy, but I am on the fantasy football roster for everyone that is in our league. Now, everyone that is in our league is in a Dynasty Fantasy League that is PPR, but set up for Dynasty. So it's Dynasty PPR that has extra things added onto it. So it's not going to be the same exact as your league, and majority Dynasty leagues will not be the same, correct? So we're going to have majority Dynasty leagues that will, a lot of the time, it'll just favor to what the commissioner wants and how the team wants, or the league wants, right? So it'll be more commissioner-based. And then other teams have inputs. Teams have values to what gets said to such rules. Now, your rules may be a little bit different than mine. Your tackles may be worth a little bit more or less. Like our tackles are worth 12 and the assists are worth 6. Sacks are worth 20. Tackle for loss are worth 5. Points may differ from yours. You may want to adjust accordingly. So, and deflected passes are worth 10. So adjust to that. Now, I'm going to talk a lot of football based, okay? And you're going to have to use that terminology to understand what you're going to value these linebackers at. Because I'm not going to sit here and you're going to differentiate with mine. So rather than doing that, I just want to sit here and break these linebackers down to you and let you adjust your own assumptions for your own self and for your own roster. Now, Jamie Davis is going to be the second linebacker. That is very understood. That is very known. Very talented. Good size. Gets around well. But Cole Holcomb is the linebacker there. Cole Holcomb is the guy. He was the guy the year beforehand and so forth. He's going to be the guy. He's more than likely, knock on wood, and as long as no injuries and, we're not jinxing him, he's going to be that guy there. So Cole Holcomb will be the majority tackles. Second on that Washington team may be Jamie Davis. Or it could be Cameron Curl, the safety. So that is on you on how you want to partake that. I like Jamin Davis, but he's also on his rookie list. And there's just a lot of defensive guys here, so it's real easy to break these down. Zaven Collins is going to be moving around like a superstar. No. My apologies. They're giving that role to Isaiah Simmons. Isaiah Simmons is going to have the role to move around like a superstar this year and to be less in the linebacker position. So with that being said, I see more tackles being there for Zaven Collins unless Isaiah Simmons really develops into, I can kind of see them using him like a Jeremy Chin, but less in the safety department, more in the nickel department. So I can see him covering corners, or I mean, I can see taking the cornerback position for the nickel and going into sub packages. When he goes into those sub packages, now he could be like Jordan Brooks in that sense. He's going to get targeted a lot, and that could mean a lot of tackles, or that could mean he's going to get cooked a lot, and there's a lot more tackles for other players on the team. Good on to Nick Bolton. Nick Bolton's the best linebacker on that roster. He took Anthony Hitchens completely out of rotation. They was waiting to get Anthony Hitchens in rotation to where he was solidifying himself into that role, and they were trying to do so. But in trying to do so, and then when they grabbed Nick Bolton, Nick Bolton was never supposed to be the really good linebacker. He was just supposed to be a solid linebacker that goes into the league, and can he keep that transition into the league? And then how long can he play at that pace? That was kind of really the question. For me, Nick Bolton was the best linebacker coming out of the draft by far. When you're talking about going in and producing, the same thing as when you asked me the year beforehand, who was the best quarterback coming out of the draft? I said Mac Jones. Mac Jones was by far the best quarterback that was going to come into the league and play because he was a field general. Stated that, I said what all players are going to state about him they will call him a field general because that's stylistically what player he is. And all reports come out from peers saying that that's really what he is a field general. So you kind of got to know what player you're getting coming out of college, and then you kind of got to know what player you're getting beforehand from the year. And then if you're grabbing a player that's in the draft, and he's a rookie, and you're trying to get somebody to play, your main objective is to make sure you understand the depth chart, understand where the tackles go to, and understand why the tackles go there. Were the tackles going there beforehand because of injuries, or were the tackles going there because of scheme, or were the tackles going there because that's really where they want the tackles to go through? They want the tackles to flow in this vicinity. A lot of defenses will structure things around those, so you got to understand what you're looking for. It's like Pete Werner. Pete Werner was not a guy you drafted to play last year. It was a guy you played for him to sit, to possibly play this year. But his third year is where he's going to have a big role to be something, right? But the second year is where you're going to find out. Chaz Surratt was the same stylistic for me. I don't see Chaz Surratt getting much playing time unless we see an injury. But I'm not the biggest fan of Hicks. Hicks is a move-around guy. Zadarius Smith is a completely different style linebacker than Chaz Surratt, so they won't be kind of swapping. It's like the same thing as if Chaz Surratt would be taking Hassan Reddick's spot. It's just not going to happen. He's not that stylistic of linebacker. He could never take his spot because he's not going to do those things and those roles, and he's not going to play that position near as well as him. It's just like TJ Watt is not going to be able to play middle linebacker. He's just not. TJ Watt is not a middle linebacker. There's no offense. TJ Watt's just a really good blitzing linebacker. That's just all it is. Everybody has their roles. Everybody has something that they got to play. Monty Rice is another thing. Devin Lloyd. Let's talk about Devin Lloyd real quick. Devin Lloyd is a fill-in player. He's kind of the guy where you're drafting him in your first rounds, the same way that Dean Snorch drafted him. Now, he was looking for a linebacker. He's looking for draft capital. But why is he looking for that? Well, Myles Jack just left not that long ago. And a couple years before that, they had their other big linebacker get up out of there. So over the last, 4, 5, 6 years, you've seen Myles Jack depart. And then, right beforehand, you also seen another linebacker depart ways. So you're kind of understanding that they're looking to get that role in, okay? They're looking to find that guy that's going to solidify what they have going on the defensive standpoint. Now, Devin Lloyd can do that, but picking up the linebacker from Atlanta was a huge pickup. He's going to get tackles. He's going to do his thing. He's not, a top 2, top 3, top 4 linebacker, top 5 linebacker when it comes to actual linebackers. That's like Brooks. Brooks had more tackles than Bobby Wagner. Is he better than Bobby? No. Is he close? No. Is he on the same realm as him? No. But does he score more points and is he more valuable on your roster last year? Yes, he was. Is he a better linebacker? No. So you also got to understand what you're going for. You're going for names, or also are you going for production? Are you going for points? So that's kind of a quick breakdown of just what we're seeing right now, kind of understanding my terminology of how I break down just a couple of rosters, how I go into it. Whether it's looking at the roster from a standpoint, and why that player is going there, what value they bring to that roster, or what does that roster value them as. You kind of got to look into both things, and it's more for defense than it is for offense. And the reason why I say that is because you can have an offensive weapon, and he's just a weapon. You know he's going to be used, but it's how. It's just like, let's use Cordell Patterson for an example, right? Never really got his fair shake. Moore was a kick returner, special teams guy. Worked his way into getting some small running back roles, but never nothing substantial. They used him as an elusive back, but he's not built like an elusive back. He's 6'4", 200-plus pounds. He's trying to get active. He wants to run actually between tackles if he wants to, or he wants to bust it outside because he always wants to get a touchdown. That's just what type of player he is. So you kind of got to understand what player you're getting and why they're going, and the opportunities that they're going to receive. Cordell Patterson went there. They needed a running back. Mike Davis was solid, but you knew that they needed something extra. He was the something extra. Now, do you know what you're going to get and all the other stuff? No. You just got assumptions, you just have opinions, and you just have possibilities. But you got to use some factual statements from previous game logs and from previous games and from previous college games if they're just coming into the league to see what they can really do. And it doesn't matter if you're drafting a guy that played for a bottom D1 school. If he has the game logs and he's getting the tackles, watch some film. Look at the plays that he makes. A play can be made no matter what the talent is around. You can still make a crazy play. If they're making plays like that of that nature, and you kind of got to assess those type of players just a little bit different. And I'll give you an example of that real quick. It's just like, let's see here. Let's go to my linebackers, right? And then let's talk about, let's say Christian Kirksey. Okay, let's say Christian Kirksey, for example. Now, Christian Kirksey, for example, is a very, 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 very talented linebacker, very good linebacker. But he's been getting injured. Not an injury towards the entire season. Excuse me. But it's an injury long enough to where if you have a guy that scored 100 tackles last year, and then you have another guy that scored 140. Now, that guy that scored 140, he played all games. But the guy that scored 100 missed 6 weeks. You add 6 games and you go look at the average game logs, he's more than likely right there with that linebacker, or he's going to be higher. Now, those linebackers will carry the same value, game logs-wise, and week to week, they'll carry the same value. But you just have to bank on them not getting hurt. That's the only thing. And that's the thing with names. You can have a name on defense, but it does not matter. If they are not scoring in the categories that you need them to score in, it will be useless. You will be grabbing a player that has no substantial value, and you will just be hurting yourself in the long run by grabbing a player with a name for no reason, or you're grabbing a player with a name, or you're grabbing a player with a name on a team, or you're grabbing a player that favorite team. I don't have one player on my entire roster that's part of my favorite team. I choose to stay away from my favorite team. I like to watch my team play, and I want my team to win. Yeah, I want a couple guys. Like I wanted Najee Harris from the Steelers and a couple other guys, but it's hard to get those guys. If they're really good, it's hard to get them. My apologies for that. So now Malcolm Jenkins is retired. I didn't know if you guys could see him or not, but he is retired. I still have to retire him. Shout out to Michael Jenkins. Crazy season. I only had him for 1 year on my roster ever, but phenomenal career, brother. Phenomenal career. Congratulations to you on your retirement. Big congratulations. Now, I don't know how your guys' stats vary, right? But let's go over to ESPN.com. And let me show you why I'm saying what I'm saying, and let me break it down to you. Okay, so let's go to NFL. Let's go to stats. Now, you can go to NFL.com. You can go to multiple places to get these stats. All these stats they should be the same. Sometimes they're very, 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 very different. Sometimes you'll see some to where it's like, there's a tackle or two off, or, somebody's got a pick and they shouldn't have a pick, and they should be on the player right below them. They just accidentally going all the way over, put it on the wrong guy. That happens. It happens. But I like using ESPN because it's real simple, real easy to show you guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go down the show more about 3 or 4 times, right? And I'm going to load up about 200. It's more than 200 players. But what I do is I like to load up to about 200, right? So I'm about at 193. I'm at around 57 tackles. I'm actually going to go one more. I like to go down to 50. Okay, there's 50. Okay, now 50 tackles. That's because we have linemen. I like to look at my lineman comparisons compared to safeties, linebackers, to see where they're at. Now, let's see here. We can use Cole Holcomb, for example, right? Let's use Cole Holcomb. Okay, this is Cole Holcomb stats right here in the middle. Now, Cole Holcomb, let me see. Let me zoom in just a little bit for you guys so you guys can really see what's going on. It's not actually going to let me go side to side, sadly, but it's okay. So we can see Cole Holcomb played 16 games, 83 solos, 59 assists, 142 total tackles, 1 sack. Now let's Control F and let's type in Jamin. And Jamin Davis finished with 76 tackles as a rookie. Now, as a rookie, 76 tackles next to Cole Holcomb is nice. It's actually not very bad. He had 48 solos, 28 assists. He will be more of a solo tackle guy because Cole Holcomb is a solo tackle guy. So it's going to be harder for him to get in on a lot of assists because unless he starts getting there to the plays. He has to start being able to make the plays like Cole Holcomb to get into that role. But he should have a lot of solo tackles. We can talk about, let's see here. Where's the first safety or non-linebacker on here? Okay, it'd be Minkah Fitzpatrick. And if you asked me last year who I thought would have the most tackles as a safety, it would be Minkah. I tried to get Minkah in our draft. He went higher than what I wanted to pay for him. I mean, I would have paid that for him, but I had to get balance out for the rest of my roster. So for me, it didn't make sense to pay the ticket. And that's what happens. But he had 124 tackles. I wish I paid the ticket because then I would have had the best safeties in the league. But I was number 2 in the league on safeties next to Renegades of Funk. And he had me by a little bit, but a decent little amount. But he has solid safeties. And the reason why I bring that up is because your safeties can outscore your linebackers. If you have good safeties, they will outscore your linebackers. Now, granted, there's a lot of linebackers at the top. There's a lot. But if you do it right, you can miss out on grabbing 1 or 2 or 3 of these superstar linebackers for a super high ticket and pay that total amount on 3 safeties, possibly 4 safeties that are at the top of the food chain. And you lower your value on 1 linebacker to grab 3, possibly 4 substantial safeties. Or you can get 2 of the best safeties in the league. Now, best safeties in the league will vary to people's opinions. But anyways, you can see Minkah is up there. Jalen Thompson, Derwin James, of course. Logan Ryan always seems to grab tackles. Logan Ryan always seems to play well. Jonathan Abram, Harrison Smith, Jordan Fuller. Not the biggest fan of Jordan Fuller, but I do like the 113 tackles. Do I think, I have 100 tackles next year? No. But that's just my opinion. I will really want to. I got to watch some Jordan Fuller film before I tell you guys I want to pick him up. But my opinion, I'd rather have Xavier Woods or Tracy Walker. But that's my opinion. I like safeties. I'm cool on. I get it. He's a safety, but he's really a corner. He's really a corner. He's really a corner to me. He's like a nickel corner. He's kind of like Mike Hilton. But I could be wrong. Jordan Fuller could play a lot of safety. He could play a lot of safety. I got Taylor Rapp, so I see Rapp a lot in the back. He plays a lot of back end, but then he plays a lot in the box too. So I'm kind of curious on where Jordan Fuller plays. I kind of have to look into that just a little bit more. Let's talk about it just a little bit more. We got Nazir Adderley there. We got Cameron Curl there. We got Jerron Kearse there. Just like I said, Cameron Curl, he had more time. I didn't know that he did, but I was assuming that he did. Or he would this year. Cameron Curl would have more tackles than Jamin Davis, just because Cole Holcomb's there. Cole Holcomb's just going to grab all the tackles. It's just how it goes. Patrick Queen, he's still a 100 tackle guy, but he's just not. he's not the extra caliber that people thought that he was. He's a very good middle linebacker, but he's not that extra notch. Thought he was going to be the extra notch. Thought he was going to be the extra gear. Hasn't hit it yet, at least. Now, Quandre Diggs is up there. Von Bell is up there. Taylor Rapp, Jordan Poyer, Adrian Amos. And the reason why I say you can have safeties that neutralize a lot of people's linebackers is because if you have 10 people in your league, someone ain't getting – there's 14 – there's what? 15? There's 15 linebackers on this page, right? 14 linebackers on this page. Do you think if you got 10 people in your league, do you think you're going to get 3 of those guys right here? Realistically, do you think you're going to get 3 of these linebackers? No. Look at your roster now. You may have some, but you're weaker in a whole nother position. And I can tell you, I have Jordan Brooks on my roster. I just traded for him. Go check the last video on the channel for that. I just traded for Kaiser White. Go check the last video on the channel for that. Both of those are thrown in there. I have Eric Kendricks. I have 3 in the top 9. Does that win me a championship? No. But it puts my linebackers at a lot better position than everybody else's, compared to everybody else. Now, there's a couple of other people that have really good linebackers too. But they're going to be a little bit weaker in other positions. You have to spend your money where you want to spend your money. Where can you get the most points? You get the most points at wide receivers and running backs. Or you can get the most points out of the top 10 linebackers. Or you can get a lot of points out of the top 10 safeties that are in the draft. It's just where you want to get your points, why you want to get your points, and how you want to get your points. My best advice to anybody out there going into a dynasty league or in a dynasty league or in a PPR dynasty league, and you guys have contracts or you guys just have them for 2 years or however it works, you want to draft a guy that scores in your point system. Whatever your point system is, you want to figure your point system out. Spend time figuring out your point system. If you actually want to win in fantasy football, do that. If you're not gambling on fantasy football and you're playing for fun, it doesn't matter. If you're playing for real money and you're competitive and you don't want to lose your money, you definitely want to do it. If you don't mind losing your money but you're still competitive and you don't want to lose at all, you still want to do it. You can look at snap counts of players. You can look at production. You can look at countless things. You can look at when they're getting subbed out. Why are they being subbed out? Are they being subbed out because they're more than likely tired? Or are they being subbed out because of packages? Okay, now if they're being subbed out because of packages, this is a new year. So now you got to look at schemes. What is that package going to be? It's just like Harrison Smith. I done a trade. Someone kept trying to bring down the value of Harrison Smith because of new scheme, new defense. New scheme, new defense means nothing to me when it comes to Harrison Smith for multiple reasons. One, they've tried to change the scheme of the defense before. It doesn't quite work out. And even when they do change the scheme of the defense, Harrison Smith still puts up top 10 safety numbers across the board. That's just what type of safety he is. Now, scoring-wise. Now, would you be wrong to say that his production could drop? No, you'd be you'd be completely wrong to say that his production, or however I said that, you'd be wrong to say that 100% sure you don't know. Now, me, based off of stats and based off of production and based off of everything else that's happened, I would say it doesn't matter because he still wears the dot. He still calls plays. Yes, Kendrick calls plays. Yes. Harrison Smith still calls plays. You watch games. Who calls adjustments? Who points stuff out like the center on the offensive line? If you look at the Eagles and you see Kelsey play, and you see Kelsey in the huddle, and you see him staring at the defense, looking at substitutions, and calling out plays and calling out everything that he sees, you want the same thing. So, in those instances and those things, kind of got to figure out what you're getting yourself into, why you're getting yourself into it. This is just kind of my quick little breakdown, my quick assumption. There's plenty of players out there to get. Now, you may be like us to where you have a dynasty and there's players that you just can't get. Like, for example, Roquan Smith is $22 in our league, okay? Let that sink in. We have $190 on our roster. Quarterback, 4 running backs, 8 receivers, kick returner, punt returner, kicker, punter, 8 linemen, 7 linebackers, 8 safeties. Plenty of players there. Plenty. 22 is expensive, very expensive, especially for a linebacker. So his value drops a lot No one's going to want to trade for Roquan Smith at $22 and give up, the first round pick with extra shit, because it's going to cost them too much to get that. Yeah, they're getting that player, but they'd rather get a player like Joe Schobert for Pittsburgh with 112 tackles. You'd rather go with Anthony Walker for Cleveland with 113 tackles. And maybe they're not available in your draft. Then you kind of want to find guys similar to that. Because for dollar amount, and yeah, you're missing out on possibly 20 points one week and 100 points another week and stuff. And yeah, those can change the games. And yeah, those can change winning and losing. But that's why you pay $22 for them. And that's why it's harder to trade for guys. Because, one, people aren't going to trade it. Just like I have Devondre Campbell for $5 on my roster. You're not getting him. The only way you're getting him is if you're giving me more than what he's worth. That's the only reason why I would give him up. You have to give me more than what he's worth. You have to make me give him up. You have to make me trade him, or else I'm not trading him. Jordan Brooks. I want to trade Jordan Brooks unless I needed to. Like if I was in a position to where I needed safeties and I needed linemen or I needed receivers or I needed other positions, because like you can need trades for multiple reasons. Like you could have too much money spent on your roster and need to trade Roquan Smith, and then have to give Roquan Smith up for less value because they know that you have to find that trade partner. So there's so many ways that a trade can go down. There's so many reasons why you would trade for somebody, but there's so many reasons why you wouldn't trade for somebody. It also depends upon your league and why you want to trade for that player, what it does to your roster, how it fits with your roster, how it works for your roster. There can be a player out there like Alex Singleton. You know what I'm saying? Is he starting? I'm assuming he's starting. But you got to think Kaiser White's there now. Dean's there. So what's his tackle output going to look like? Is he going to be a 100 tackle guy again, let alone a 137 tackle guy again? You kind of have to figure that out. But that's on you guys to figure out. I'm going to take a quick break real quick. I'm going to go downstairs, grab myself a bottle of water, piss, take a quick bathroom break. Be right back. I'm going to leave you guys with the countdown menu in the beginning. Yeah, enjoy.